Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Well, bullying is taking on so many forms these days, from kids to adults.
Gabriella van Rij is an internationally recognized bullying expert. She's the author of these two books. The first one is about her own experience. The other was written to inspire kids. We're so excited to have her here. And we'll get right to it. We're going to talk about things because we know you're a parent. We're going to talk about 3 things that you can do if your child is being bullied, and then 3 things to do if you suspect your child might actually be the bully. So thank you so much for being
thanks
here.
for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And you write from personal experience. We've had you on the show before. You talked about being bullied as a child because of the color of your skin. You actually were adopted and lived in the Netherlands. So being from Pakistan, you were an outsider.
Total outsider. And then my parents were diplomats, so they moved every 3 years to another country. So adaptability became my middle name.
Yeah.
You have to.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I said to everyone, please do not change your children from schools, because it is so nice to grow up and to actually be in one school and to know people and to feel safe.
And you feel like the problems follow kids, so just taking them out of a school doesn't get rid of the bullying problem.
But for me, for the victim, if you have a victim at home, the first thing to see is the signs. The isolation, the behavior changes. She or he might quit sports because something was going on during the sports. The other thing that I see often is the girls won't go to parties anymore. And there's always something.
They avoid social things.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked with you, with some of our viewers before, and I know kids a lot of times, they don't get invited to a party. Is that also kind of a form of bullying?
Of course it is, because there's no reason that not the whole class comes. That's silly.
Yeah.
When you leave one out, it's always bullying. If you leave half of the class out, then it's different, because the parent can only have space for so many children. That's what I always explained to my daughter when that was the case. But I think for the victim, for a parent that has a victim at home, there's one thing really important, because my 2 lists, again, are identical. But there is an exception with the victim, is I would like the victim to own whatever it is that they're so upset about. So I'll give you an example. If I'm chubby, okay, I would like my father or my mother to actually tell me that I'm beautiful, that it's okay to be chubby, that I'm beautiful no matter what.
So, but acknowledge it. So if you have a child who's...
what the problem is, because then I feel empowered. I can go to school, see, because if you love your parents, you go to school and you say, yeah, hey, you, stop it. I know you bully me. I know I'm the fat boy. That's it. And what do you think the bully is going to do? There's no fun in this. The whole shoulder, the whole body language of this person will be totally different. It will sit straight. It will say, no, thank you. I'm beautiful. Walk away. I really believe that.
Maybe kind of fake it till you make it as that child.
But I would like the child to own it too, because I am so sorry, but there are so many people that have this problem. He isn't the only one, and he should know that. He or she should know that. And to be attacked for these things that I really don't think he can help. I think it also has to do with parents, it has to do with DNA and biology, it has to do with so many factors.
Because you send out a certain signal if you feel insecure about your looks, or about wearing glasses, or about being overweight, or being too skinny, or not having the right skin color according to some kids. It's kind of about owning that and being like, hey, I think it looks great, or hey, I think I'm beautiful, and you do carry yourself then in a different way.
Absolutely. I mimic it when I'm on stage in the schools. I say, well, I can stand like this. I say, hi, I'm Gabriella from Holland, and I have a weird accent. Would you play with me? What do you think is going to happen? The whole auditorium laughs. So that's exactly what I'm going to get. Because I have this attitude that I'm scared of my own shadow. Because I really am, right? Because nobody told me that being brown was good. But I didn't have anyone to ask either, because nobody had that color. So I think that when we think that we're alone out there, there's always someone. If you look at all the hands that go up, everyone has experienced literally something that you experienced today in school. So I want children to know that, and I want parents to know that. So own it.
Let's get to the 3 things to make sure your kid is not the bully. Nobody wants to think that their child is the one being the bully. You may not want to accept it. You may not want, you know, to be a part of it, or even know how to help them. So what are 3 things you can do to make sure your child's not the bully?
Okay. The first thing, again, you have to look at the behavior pattern of the child. Is the child acting out? Often a bully is. But there's something else that a bully does, in my opinion. And the bully could be preemptively striking at school, again, for something that he or she feels really bad about. I'm just going to take an example again. Let's say I'm the only one in the family with red hair. I might go to school not being a bully at all. I have a good home, everyone is kind to me, but I feel bad. What if I then treated the children in such a way that I'm going to be bossy and really very difficult? I'm not saying bully yet, but very close to being a bully. And it works, because the children will stay on the distance. So what have I learned right there? And I think parents need to know that. If your child has something that they really don't like about themselves and that doesn't exist in your family, talk to the child.
And what about intervention? What's the last thing you can do if you suspect your child is a bully?
It's always the same. I would sit down with the bully and find out what's wrong. And when a parent finds out that the bully is upset, often about a family situation, you know, these kids have no foundation anymore. Let's not forget that. And I don't want to play the blame game here, but parents are divorced. There's a lot of reconstructed families together, stepsisters, stepbrothers. It's difficult for these kids to feel safe in these environments. So school ends up being safer often than home. So if that bully feels safer at school in a bully situation where it has power, I can almost understand that. So parents talk to them, talk and have an intervention first with your child, then the school. You have to do it at school. And if school doesn't listen, go to the police. But in the case of a bully too, I do not think parents need to feel that it's a stigma to have a bully. They cannot be told that, because that's not true either. There are so many bullies that, come on, we've all been mean to another kid. I've been mean sometimes to someone. Again, it's a conscious choice. So if we could teach parents kindness, that's almost where we need to start.
I like that.
Addressing it and really dealing with the root of every issue, I think is the key.
With the parents.
With the parents, too.
And then they can bring it to the children.
I think it's wonderful. And you can find out more about Gabriella at her website. Get her books. It's Gabriella van Rij, RIJ.com. Thanks for being here.